What is up, bodyweight exercise fans? In today's video of Bodyweight Muscle, I'll be answering your questions. Question number one is from Winterson, who asks, what are your thoughts about upper body weighted calisthenics? Do you use them or do you only use bodyweight? Personally, I only use bodyweight stuff. Now and then I might use some weighted calisthenics, but that's rare. That's a rare occasion, maybe if I'm really bored or if I hit a really stubborn plateau, maybe also then I might use some weighted stuff. But I would say 99% of my workouts are as bodyweight as it gets. The reason you're probably asking this is because you're wondering, I get this question a lot, if you can still build muscle through time as you advance, as you can do a lot of reps after a certain point in most exercises. Can you still build muscle if you don't add some extra weight? And the answer to that is yes. So let's see first of all, what are the three main mechanisms that help us build muscle? These are number one, mechanical tension. In simple words, that's the load you're lifting. In our case, your body weight or your body weight plus the weight you're adding on yourself. Number two is metabolic stress. And that relates to that pump you feel, that burn when you're doing really high reps or also when you're doing circuit training. Number three is muscle damage, which relates to that soreness that you'll feel the next day if you've trained a lot the previous day or really hard, or if you added some new exercises. Now, the first way, mechanical tension, if we leave that aside, what we can do if we want to just train body weight is we can manipulate the other two. So metabolic stress and muscle damage. How do we manipulate these two factors for building muscle just by using our own body weight? Well, as I said, circuits are a great way. I've been talking a lot about circuits the last weeks. It's my favorite way of training the last year, I would say, and I'm seeing really good results. And the other way to manipulate muscle damage is increasing your training volume and using mind to muscle techniques and cues. So let's see, first of all, how do we manipulate our training volume? Depending on what level you are, beginner, intermediate or advanced, you also have to see how much training volume do you include in your bodyweight training per movement pattern per week. So make sure your sets are in check. Watch the previous video I made in the past. You're gonna learn all about how many sets you should be doing. And about mind to muscle connection, that's another topic I've talked a lot about. In simple words, it's a way of learning to stimulate your muscles as much in depth as possible. So learning to recruit as much as muscle fibers on the targeted muscle that you're working in each exercise. The ways you do that, well, I'll include my favorite videos that I've made in the past. How to increase your mind to muscle connection with pull-ups, with push-ups. And I'm also working on a book on how to increase your mind to muscle technique through dips right now. It's a part of my short read mind to muscle building bodyweight series that I have on Amazon. So let's make a quick summary. If you want to keep on building muscle, if you want to keep on progressing without having to add extra weighted stuff to your workouts, if you want to keep it as bodyweight as possible, make sure that you are manipulating as much as possible metabolic stress through your workouts. That means doing circuits and also working on high ranges of repetitions. So studies have shown that even up to 30 and 40 repetitions can build muscle as long as you're pushing yourself, as long as you're taking that as close as possible to muscle failure. And also make sure that you manipulate muscle damage, meaning that you are recruiting as much as muscle fiber as possible. You can do that through mind to muscle techniques and cues. I've linked videos, I'm gonna link them again. And also make sure that your training volume is in check. Make sure that you're getting enough of training volume per movement pattern per week. Next question is from Mario, who asks, it's my second week of bodyweight training and it's coming along slowly. My biggest problem is pull-ups. I've been doing assisted pull-ups, but it seems like trying to get more than 3 real reps is a struggle. I don't feel like I'm getting stronger. Is this normal? So you're just 2 weeks in your training and you're already out of patience. That's not a lot, but I get it, you know, in the beginning, everything is new and you don't know what to expect. So make sure that other than assisted pull-ups, by the way, that's a great way to start, assisted pull-ups, using a band. Do that, keep on doing that, but also start including other stuff. Number one is you can use also short ranges of motion repetitions. So like do some short range of motion pull-ups, just bring the bar down to your chin and up to, I would say, a hair level. Do as many of those as you can and also work on negative repetitions. So bring yourself up to the pull-up bar. You can use like a step or something to help yourself and go down really slowly. Press up again, use like a chair or an elevated surface or whatever. Quick summary again, keep on using assisted pull-ups and add to that also short range of motion pull-ups and negative repetitions. If you use a little bit of each of these three ways in every one of your workouts, and if you have some more patience for the next, I would say 6 weeks, you'll start seeing results. Remember, you know, progress is not always like linear especially later. In the beginning, I would say your progress is more linear, but even as a beginner, you know, sometimes you'll have like a plateau, then you're gonna have some progress again. Later on, when you're more advanced, you're gonna even have some valleys. You know, it's not always peak, peak, peak. So make sure that you're patient, include a little bit of everything of the three ways I told you, and I promise you'll start doing a lot more pull-ups in the near future. Our third question is from Victor, who asks, in the last half year, I've tried dumbbell exercises for focusing more on strength, but I didn't enjoy it, so I went back to bodyweight training. So Victor was doing bodyweight stuff. He wanted to use some more heavy, some more mechanical tension, some more heavy weights to focus more on strength, but he got bored of that. And he's now asking, what is a good replacement for dumbbell press and dumbbell rows? Now, dumbbell press, what you can do, the best exercise I would say you can replace these are one-arm push-ups, because again, you're focusing on one arm at a time as you're doing with dumbbells, since the weights are different from each other. And one-arm push-ups is one of the best bodyweight exercises. Besides being a great stimulation for your shoulder, your chest, they also really work on your obliques, really good stimulation for your obliques. Because basically, since you're leaning only on one arm, your body wants to rotate and your obliques act as anti-rotary muscles. So really good exercise, work on that. I've made a tutorial in the past on how to work on your one-arm push-ups. And for dumbbell rows, what you can replace those with are full bodyweight rows. If you want like a really heavy bodyweight exercise to focus on your pulling, on your horizontal pulling strength. And another exercise you can also do are one-arm rows. Just use a gymnastic ring and focus on doing your rows with one arm at a time. I'll include some footage on what are whole body weight rows, since it's not that much of a popular exercise, even though it's really, really good. I do it a lot. Nowadays, I don't do any basic rows. I just do them full body weight. Make sure that before you start working on your full body weight rows, you've mastered the basic body weight rows and also body weight rows with your legs on an incline level. So these are the replacements for your exercises. Try them, Victor, work on them slowly. Check out my tutorials, and I promise that you'll see really good results if you stick to these exercises. So this was the Q&A for this week. If you want to get your questions answered in my Q&As, I think I'll do these once a month. I think that's a good frequency. Leave your comments below, leave your questions below in the comment section. I'll try to answer at least 3 questions per video, the 3 most popular ones, or the 3 that I think are the most important and interesting ones. And until next time, keep on training.